Welcome, old soul. This is your big uncle, turning coals into diamonds. What I want to talk about today is something that bothers me every day. It's that part of yourself that I don't know if it's a defense mechanism when you're a child that's constantly telling you that this person's against you. This is the worst that can happen. If you do this, you're gonna be in fear. If you post that video, your life is gonna end. If you ask that girl out, she's gonna do these things to you. Your girlfriend's cheating. This constant voice that's feeding you this information that puts you in a depressed state, in a state of fear, in a state of woe is me. So, what I would say to that, what I would say to you, and how to deal with that is come to peace with the fact that when you were a young child and you were defenseless, and whatever parental issues you had, that part of yourself was protecting you. Like wherever you are in life right now, it has brought you through so many dangers. But the problem is that this same thing will keep you isolated. I was having the moment last night and I was thinking, and it was this morning actually. And it was telling me about my significant other, my family, my job, giving me all the breakdown on how they can hurt me, how these things are, potential issues. And I had to just talk back to myself. I know that sounds strange. Talk back to myself and just say, stop. Like, I really appreciate that you have my best interest at heart. I really appreciate that you are constantly vigilant to protect me from all these dangers. But at the end of the day, I'm a grown-up now and I can handle it. If someone cheats on me, I can deal with it. If someone's disrespectful to me, I know how I can stand up for myself. Like me sitting there for hours running through my mind all the scenarios by which I will be harmed or hurt or destroyed really is not helping. And all it does is isolate me and put me in a little small box where you keep friends away, you keep family away, you keep all these people away because they might do something to you. But you might find love. You might create something amazing. You might expand yourself beyond where you are. So it's not so much that you need to rebuff that part of yourself. What you really need to do is to come to terms and accept that that part of yourself served a purpose at one time. It was the voice that told you don't go hang out with those friends. It was the voice that told you don't try that substance. It was the voice that warned you about taking that job or hanging out with those, doing whatever it was. And then you found out later that, yeah, those guys were druggies, or those guys were violent, or those guys that girl got, SA'd, It saved you. It protected you. It protected your innocent self. But at this point in your life, you need to learn how to spot the dangers yourself. You cannot be on automatic pilot. What I've been saying for a long time is about this NPC stuff. You cannot be a non-playable character. You can't just be, I do this. You got to stand up and be the new version of you. And the only way you're going to do it is you're going to have to put that small voice aside, thank it for what it's done, and put it aside. And you're going to start listening to your own intuition, which will warn you from dangers, but it won't protect you from everything. Why would you want to be protected from everything? Do you know one of the greatest pains you're ever going to have is being in love with someone and being vulnerable? Because even if they are perfect and they do everything right, they're going to say something, they're going to do something that's going to harm you. But that hurt can be the catalyst that grows you to be the biggest, best version of yourself. That pain that you feel for that year or that 2 years might push you to achieve something amazing, right? You cannot live life in the absence of fear, or the absence of pain is what I meant to say. You cannot live life in the absence of pain. I've spent a lot of time avoiding pain, avoiding difficulties, avoiding conflict. And you know what that's done? Put me into more conflicts and more pain and more difficulties. Or at the very least, it has placed me into situations that are outside of my control. When I have said, look, this might be painful, this might be difficult, but I'm going to face it head on, it's usually not as bad as I think. And it's something that, if it's bad, it only lasts for a moment. So what I'm saying to you is, if you have that inner voice that's been vigilantly warning you every day of your life, you got to tell it to take a break. Because if you're always fearful, then you're not joyful. You're not able to experience the joys of life. You don't tell that voice to stop. You tell that voice, take a break. Right? You start looking at the surroundings and starting to use your intuition to figure out what is dangerous and what is not. And I know that's a scary thing, because once again, your intuition's going to let you get into issues that cause you problems. But those problems, those towers, those moments that come up, they have to happen for you to grow. There has been no great change in your life without a little bit of pain, a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of thing. What is the rule? An object at rest will stay at rest. And an object in motion will keep staying in motion unless acted on by an outside force, equal or greater force. So if you are an NPC walking through life and you never face any difficulty, guess what's going to happen? You're going to continue going. And you might be blissfully content to stay where you are, but you will not be that millionaire, that billionaire. You won't be that author. You won't be that singer. You're just going to be that guy or that girl or that lady who has 15 cats. Not to say there's anything against that, but who was relegated their life to an observer of other people's lives. And what I want for you is not just to watch me, but to be greater than I could ever imagine. So I'm going to keep it short. If you got that voice, you tell that voice to take a break. You tell that voice, I appreciate everything you've done for me. I appreciate how you've been vigilantly protecting me, but I need you to start giving me something positive to look forward to. A life of fear and isolation will lead to death. It's the same as dying. I'd rather die for real than to be dead inside, just living on, endlessly bored. So if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling despondent, if you're feeling like life is just stalled, you need to stop listening to that voice and you need to take some sort of risk, calculated risk. You got to accept that, yes, people are going to hurt you, but like like anyone who works out, what you're basically doing when you work out very hard is you're breaking down the muscle, you're causing it to literally tear and then reform stronger. Tear and reform stronger. Right? What we're going to do to your personality, to your psychic soul self, is we're going to stretch it a little bit and it's going to come back tighter. We don't want flabby souls around here, right? We want tight, strong souls. Because your job as an old soul is not just to survive. It is not just to make it through, but it is to thrive, because your ultimate goal always is to make the world shift into a new consciousness. It's to make everyone else around you rise up by your very presence. And you can't do that if you're hiding. I think the Bible says a candle on a hill cannot be hid. You have to be the light in the darkness. Peace out.